you going to try the Super Cruise with the trailer and see how that works with?
Should I try now?
Well, it's up to you.
Let's see. I don't know if this. Yeah, it's working. Look at this.
Wow, that's cool. Hands off, and all they want to do is stare at your face. They don't care where your hands are. This is real, the real thing.
Wait, Wait, Ike Gauntlets are becoming easier.
I know.
This is a very special episode of the Ike Gauntlet, the world's toughest towing test, because behind us is a new truck that has a powertrain that's really unique, and nobody else has it.
That's cool. Today's contestant is a sexy beast. 2023 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate Diesel inline 6 3-liter.
Yep, it's the Duramax, and it's gonna take on the Ike Gauntlet with a 7,000-pound Overland camping trailer. Let's figure out if the Duramax diesel is still king of towing. Must set up the trailer before the Ike Gauntlet.
That's true. We're almost there.
And by set up, I mean add it to the profiles inside the truck, because it matters a lot. Roamer 1. It is conventional. It's not a boat. It's a travel trailer.
Yes. It's a box.
Setup features. Towing assist. Done. Actually, I want to go back. Maintenance checklist, weight, towing assist.
Gross combined, yeah.
Start setup, transparent trailer, trailer camera guidance. Well, we don't have cameras to put inside the trailer.
Yeah,
how many axles do you have?
Two.
Ooh,
Two. That's
not 3.
Last question on there.
Yes.
Oh, jackknife. So what does it?
Oh, it's a jackknife prevention. So
Is
if
that
you're
sway control?
no,
Oh.
it's for parking maneuvers.
Oh, so.
So when you're making a tight turn, it'll give you a warning if your trailer is coming too close
to the bumper.
To the bumper.
Oh,
yes.
that's kind of cool.
So, yeah, so that's cool. So I made my gain setting to 6, and I'm going to turn on my tow haul mode. And look at this. When I turn on my tow haul mode, exhaust brake on.
Yes, well, that's how
It
this
has
one
one.
is. This one does both, right?
Yeah, one button does both.
Yes, so you have
Exhaust
no
brake.
control over that.
But-
Well, that's good. That's good.
But that's a segment. They're the only people in the light duty segment with a diesel engine. They
That's-
should have a separate button that says exhaust brake. Mr. Truck, I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
That's always a promising thing when you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. That
Well-
means, yes, the economy is going to improve.
Well, yeah, but also we're gonna go downhill on the Ike Gauntlet in the brand new 3-liter Duramax diesel.
Oh, I love this truck. This is so cool. We're going into a snowstorm.
Wait a minute.
With
It
ice.
says icy.
Icy.
No!
Use your ice brakes. You're fine.
No. There's no ice here.
Oh.
It's just a little bit of moisture.
Yeah. Oh, this is good. I mean, this time of the year, you never know what you're going to get. We've got a lot of Ike Gauntlets in the snowstorms.
Isn't this almost May? Why is it snowing?
Well, because it's Colorado. We get a lot of snow in April. What is this, April?
April and May.
Yeah, that's actually normal snow for us.
All right, so we started the downhill. This is the 10-speed automatic, of course, and it hasn't downshifted aggressively yet. And
Yeah.
here's my first brake application.
Okay, there's one. Now, this is one thing we're trying to determine once you ever get to the Super Cruise, if tow haul mode is affected with it. But we'll try that later. But now, coming down the hill, how's your RPM? Did it grade shift once?
It did at least, but I'm still at about 2,300 RPM. And
Okay.
the red line here is almost at 5,000. So,
Wow.
so it's not being as aggressive as I would like.
That's pretty good for an inline 6 to be wrapped that tight.
Yes.
You know, that's amazing. But two, this has got an exhaust brake and tow haul mode comes on together.
Yeah.
So the exhaust brake by itself should be giving us pretty good help.
But the thing is, this engine is so refined, I hear nothing. Do you hear any
it's
engine noise?
a very, very quiet engine. I think you got to get back by the exhaust to hear anything.
Yeah.
You don't hear much. Well, maybe it's the engine compartment.
Here's my second brake application.
Okay, 2 brakes. Well, come on, this girl, she's got exhaust brake. Don't do this. It should be doing really well right now. We should be all excited.
Okay.
Of course, we're using the Gen Y hitch. We use this on all of our tests. It's a heavy-duty hitch. It's a receiver hitch, adjustable, and you see it in the rise position because you can flip it down for the drop, depending on how you level out your trailer. Great hitch, heavy-duty, and
It's solid steel shank, but where can I buy a hitch like this?
you can buy this from store.mrtruck.com and talk to Mr. Truck on the phone.
That's you, right?
That's me. I'll tell you all my stories.
But you know what? We have an ultimate luxurious truck today, but we also have the ultimate luxurious camping trailer.
Off-road camping trailer.
Yes,
That thing is
it's-
made to climb mountains.
It's Romer 1 by ROA Off-Road, and it's very heavy-duty built. It has heavy-duty brakes, hydraulic,
Electric over hydraulic.
electrical
yes.
hydraulic, disc brakes, and it's ultimate luxury on the inside.
It is, and it's got that universal joint hitch so you can roll it off the side of a mountain and it just keeps hanging on.
Yes, and it also has air suspension, so you can lift it up, you can lower it.
That's so
And it
nice.
costs $155,000. So the truck is handling well. That icy sign was, I think, a false warning right now because right now the road is fairly clear.
Yeah, but we do have snow supposed to come in at 4, so we've got a few hours before that snow hits.
You know, we also have used this Romer 1 camping trailer, this overland trailer, with other engines,
Yeah.
including the GM 6.2
Right,
liter.
right.
So now we'll be able to tell the difference.
Well,
Diesel versus gas.
exactly, and this is actually a good deal. This is the Ultima Denali, so it comes with a 6.2 gas. The diesel's an option, but they give you $1,500 back to you for going the diesel. I would, of course, always go with the diesel.
So it's
My
almost
goodness.
a no-brainer
I know. They're going to make it so cheap, and it's 27 miles to the gallon on the highway is what it's rated at. That's fantastic, better than anybody.
Well, in the light-duty truck segment, in the full-size segment, GM is now the only one with a turbo diesel. Ford discontinued their turbo diesel.
I know. It's
Ram
sad.
is now discontinued theirs, right?
Oh yeah, we waited for decades to get a half-ton diesel, and we all had them, then they all went away. But this one, I hope GM keeps this because this is my dream truck.
Yeah.
In 2 years.
Oh, really?
When it's time for me to buy a truck in 2 years, this is the top of my list right now. So that's good.
So
That's
take a
all
look at this, Mr. Truck. We're at almost 3,100 RPM. Oh, I have to hit it again. So this is a third brake application.
Man, I'm really surprised with an exhaust brake that it's doing that, and this is not a super heavy trailer.
No.
I don't know.
Why
guess
is
we'll-
it? It's not super aggressive with the downshifting.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
That's true, and that's a calibration issue. I mean, is this the same 10-speed that they use in their gas engines?
Basically.
With basically the same one that Ford uses, so it's not like it's something special. They could have calibrated this a little better for tow haul mode, but that's up to them. I hope they hear us because I think that would solve that problem. If they just calibrate.
Well,
a little different.
maybe the character of this truck is luxurious, so you don't want to be hitting the downshift as hard.
So you want smooth ride. You don't want to scare anybody when they're sipping their tea or their Grey Poupon or whatever rich people do in these ultimate trucks. You don't want that to happen.
Yes. Well, actually, look, it hasn't given me a red zone.
So it doesn't want you to move over yet, huh?
No. It's showing me where my blind spot is.
Oh, well, that's interesting. But that camera's wonderful. I'd still say GM's the king of the cameras. They got more cameras, and they've been very good on that.
But that red zone showed up because we set the length of the trailer.
Oh, that's why they did all those.
Yeah.
Hey, I've never seen one want hitch height. I wanted to know everything.
They wanted everything.
My gosh.
Mr. Truck, do you see this? This is kind of a ghosted chrome look.
Oh, it's a sexy beast. It's
Yes.
a Denali.
Yeah, they're calling it this ultimate edition of the Denali, Vader Chrome from Star
Darth
Wars.
Vader.
Yes.
Whoa.
It's evil-ish, but that's the heart of it. This is what we're testing.
I know. We used to call that the baby diesel, and then there was a baby Duramax, and that went away. This is the only baby.
Do you hear that Jake brake on? That doesn't sound right.
He's got a V8, man.
This is a straight 6, which means the cylinders are oriented this way, 6 of them. It's 3 liters, but this is the LZ0,
Oh.
the latest generation of this engine.
Oh, this is one with the steel pistons and all that cool stuff with the belt going 200,000 miles. But look at a turbo. You got all this room because it's an inline 6. There's more room in the engine compartment, which I like. If you're a mechanic, you love it.
Yep.
So yeah, this is awesome.
And they made it a little bit more durable, according to General Motors.
Yes.
They made the belt that's on the back side of the engine they rated it to last longer.
Right.
And they improved emissions and efficiency. So we'll be testing all of that.
Well, that's cool because that'll be fun. I love this engine. I'd like this combination. It's going to be my future truck.
Okay, so we're approaching almost the end of this downhill. But Mr. Truck, I may have to hit the brake another time. Yeah. 61 miles an hour. So as always, we don't want to go over the speed limit, right?
Right.
So we want to control it between 50 miles an hour and 60 miles an hour.
So that's what we
That's
asked for.
Four.
Well, that's not bad if it doesn't need any more. But when it is great, how many times is the grade shifted? That's what I want to know.
Not dramatically.
Yeah.
It does have 10 gears to choose from.
Yeah, it should grade shift more. That would solve the problem of slowing you down.
All
And
right.
it's a diesel. The exhaust brake together with tow haul mode should be a wonderful way to slow down a truck. That's what the semis say.
So 4 brake applications. I think that's going to be the final count on the downhill. I wanted 1. I had really high expectations, but 4 is still better than average.
Well, what's that vehicle, that SUV that did 1 or whatever that was?
Well, that was the Raptor-powered Expedition.
Yeah.
That high-output
Yeah.
EcoBoost.
I mean, if an SUV can do it, why the heck couldn't a truck? And this truck has all the good goodies on it. Now this Ultima, because it's an Ultima, it's a luxury truck. It only has a short bed. We're going to measure that, make sure to see if it's 5'7", whatever it is. You can't get a 6'5" or anything else in it in this crew cab. So,
But
that's
when
another thing. I can't get the Ultima. I have to get like a base model so I can get 6 passengers. 3 in the front with a folding armrest, and I have to get that 6.5 foot bed. So I won't be looking at this one as much as I wish I could have this one. It only costs $83,605.
The price is high for this luxury
Yeah,
truck.
so I couldn't much go over $50,000. We'll see how much luck I have in that. I'm measuring the floor alone, which I'm standing between the ribs to get it more accurate, and it shows 70 inches, which is what? 5'11"? No, 5'10" is before that. So okay, 70 inches would call it 5'10", which I thought these were 5'7". That's why we wanted to measure. It's 5'10", which is pretty good, but it's still not 6.5 foot like I want.
Mr. Truck, having a 22-inch wheel is not new in the truck business.
No,
But I want to either hug or buy the designer drink who designed this wheel, because I think it's one of the best, interesting, and coolest designs.
gorgeous wheel.
It's not a huge sidewall, but it's still rated for how much payload?
1424.
Yeah, so it still has decent payload for a very luxurious truck. And let me climb underneath it and see if we have space to the bump stop. Okay, Mr. Truck, so above the axle, there's only about a ½ inch of between the bump stop and the axle. So we're using a lot of the suspension travel. Do you see my fingers? Yeah. So here's the spacing between the bump stop and the axle. It's right here.
Yeah.
But this is the shock. And right here, there's a little valve and there's a wire going to it. And this is the adaptive part of the GMC Denali Ultimate adaptive suspension. So it can be a little bit softer or a little bit stiffer depending on the driving mode or the driving conditions.
So that's good to know. I just, now we just need to figure out what the squat is. It looks like a little squat to me.
This also has this fancy step.
Oh, I like that. Well, that's cool. You can get to your crossover toolbox, which would be right up here, just like you just showed. That's awesome.
Yep, so you can put it away. But now let's measure what it's at when it's fully laden with the trailer. So that's 35.5. That's about 35.5, and I verified it on the other side.
Cool.
So now let's unload it.
Yes.
And measure the difference.
Awesome.
So unladen, it's close to 38.5. Let me validate the other side, but it could be 3 inches of squat.
That would almost be normal for a luxury truck.
This is 38 inches, so it's 2 3/4 of squat.
Man, see, that's not bad for a luxury truck. You know,
If this was a work truck,
yeah,
that may have been not so good.
right. So I think for what the truck is and being an ultimate luxury truck, you're okay.
Tow haul mode enabled, of course, for the uphill portion of the world's toughest towing test, the Ike Gauntlet.
Oh, yes. Wait a minute, I just put away my timer.
Yeah,
quickly.
please
I grabbed
don't-
it. I grabbed my timer. I'm here. I gotta find the clock. Okay, there is the stopwatch.
Okay, so as always, I'm gonna start at 35, and I'm gonna nail it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
And start it now.
Okay.
I'll tell you when I hit 60, so we can judge that.
It feels powerful.
Well, it's a
Come
gentle
on.
power.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's roaring thunder. What's the RPMs up to?
It went up to about 4,200 or so.
Yeah.
Still accelerating. And now,
Okay, about 19.8.
well, you know, that felt kind of leisurely, I would say.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't a breakneck speed, maybe of a 6.2 liter V8 or even a supercharged V8.
Yeah, I think it's impressive for an inline six. I thought it took off pretty well, but
Well, this
yeah.
is where diesel character is different from a V8 character, right?
Right. Yeah. This is
the-
torquey.
Lots of torque, but also kind of long distance efficiency. That's what diesels are best at,
Well,
right?
yeah, and that's why most semis are inline sixes and not V8s anymore. Is because that torque monster that they are.
Yeah.
And you know, and then it runs at lower RPMs. So I think all that's for longevity and everything else. But this one, over 5,000 RPMs, a little different than what the semis are. They kind of tack out a little over 2,000.
Yeah, once again, it's a small displacement compared. I mean, how many liters is a semi engine? Like 13 or
well,
15 liters?
Yeah, some of them are. Some of them are 8.3. Some of them are up to 13.
And this is a 3 liter.
I know.
We've had some questions about this towing sticker. The gross vehicle weight rating of this truck is 7,200 pounds.
Right.
And I recently had an interview with some of the engineers at General Motors who are part of this setting the standards, also part of the J2807 SAE standard.
Right. So now you had something to say about under 8,500 pounds, like a half ton would be,
Yeah.
or over 8,500 for heavy duty, because they had an explanation why the VIN number may not mean what you think it means.
So the VIN number specific information includes the curb weight of this truck, which is almost 5,800 pounds.
Right.
This is a relatively heavy truck. Of course, payload is VIN specific, but towing has to do with how the EPA, government agency, and the towing standard for the industry interact together.
Yeah.
And the towing number, 8,800 pounds, has to do with the fleet of trucks.
Right.
It has to do with the EPA mass. And the Denali is one of the most popular GMC Sierra 1500s.
Okay.
So the engineer said, that number is pretty close to what this truck is.
Well,
But it may not be the case for every truck.
I know, and that's a problem because I would almost wish they'd take the VIN number off there because the VIN only means that for the curb weight and for the payload. So that's half the story, and the other half is the tongue weight and the trailer capacity. So I don't know. They need to do something good. It didn't used to be that way. I don't know if it's just because the J2807 came out and they thought they'd hook up with them, that they changed the rules, because this is not how it started out being.
Yes. And I also am holding my phone because I wanted to show you the trailering part of the General Motors or GMC or Chevrolet app. So when you buy the truck, you can tie it into your application on your phone, and you can do many things, including unlock your truck remotely,
Right.
monitor its location, but also there is a advanced trailering portion of this. And there's a load calculator that you can input, and it just says, read the sticker, input certain pieces of information in here, your payload, your tongue weight, your curb weight, and it will spit out your tow rating. But you
Oh.
need to know a lot of those things.
I know, and see, that's it. That's a little more complicated, but definitely, if you're going to buy a new GM truck, not necessarily believe the sticker. Put the app in, load the app, put in the information to get an accurate number, because if you're towing, you want accurate towing capacities, tongue weight, all of that.
Yes.
And so that now makes their phone and your app on your phone very important to safety.
My bank's iDash data monster says the ambient air density is around 74% of sea level, so we lost about 26% of air density. But because of the turbocharger, my manifold air density is about 170%. So it's actually packing a lot of air.
Well, that's great.
And making a lot of power. But I am full throttle, Mr. Truck.
Are you going to try the Super Cruise with the trailer and see how that works with?
Should I try now?
Well, it's up to you.
Let's see. I don't know if this. Yeah, it's working. Look at this.
Wow, that's cool. Hands off, and all they want to do is stare at your face. They don't care where your hands are. This is real, the real thing.
Wait, Ike Gauntlets are becoming easier.
I know, because most of these systems want to see your face and your hands on the wheel. Well, then it does nothing for you. You got the light on the steering wheel, so you know everything's working.
Yeah, and there's a sensor. It's basically infrared camera.
They just want your face. That's all they care about.
And it's also kind of looking at my eyes, right? If my eyes look away, so if I start talking to you for an hour,
right,
it will recognize that and remind me I need to pay attention
that's cool.
to the road.
Well,
and also, look, there are no markings on this highway on this side because over the winter time,
they've erased themselves.
They've erased, it's been erased.
Yeah,
so,
this gets a little tricky.
But this truck is still maintaining lane.
That's pretty good. Those cameras will really be good. They can see through the old paint. That's awesome. Well, that's cool. So,
Mr. Truck, I'm still keeping my foot planted on the pedal, and even though we're in Super Cruise, but we are slowing down a little.
Well,
we're at 56.
Why is your foot in the pedal? Tell me why you're doing wide open throttle on your own. Because it'll drop back to nonsense, or what? I'm just trying to figure out what you're doing.
I'm trying to keep speed. This is a test of power.
But that means that the Super Cruise isn't totally working if it's not keeping you.
No, it wants to go slower for some reason.
Well,
I mean, it's steering. It's steering for me, but it's not maintaining this tremendous momentum that I need to climb this mountain.
Well, the good thing about that is it's not going to change your numbers because you're wide open throttle either way, right?
Yes.
Because you're staying at 60 miles an hour, whatever it is.
And we are at about 3,500 RPM. So this is basically max horsepower, max torque.
Yeah.
This is where it's at. Before this,
yes,
there was a Denali truck, right?
Certainly.
And that came out, 20 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
21 years ago.
Back when Quadrosteer was born.
Yes. But now, and they also had kind of an Ultimate addition to it, but now the Ultimate is its own trim.
Yes.
And look at this. Beautiful wood.
Topography of some mountain somewhere.
Well, it's Denali Mountain.
Denali Mountain. Awesome.
Which is the tallest mountain, McKinley, the tallest mountain in North America.
I did not know that.
But can you fire this up? Because I want to show
Sure.
some of these screens. Oh, it's coming to life.
GMC. Oh, look at that big. That's a pretty wide screen. That's nice.
Yeah, so it has a lot of beeps.
Yeah, it was talking to the trailer.
But this is the latest design that they have. They also have this. Hey Google, tell me a joke.
What do you call a cold canine? A chili dog.
A chili dog.
Chili dog.
That's cute. So it tells jokes.
Yeah.
This could come in handy on a review.
Yeah, Denali.
We need some jokes.
Yeah, Denali will tell you a joke.
Oh, I love this. I love this.
But I'm a chili dog right now because it's cold.
Oh, my ears are frozen up. Are they red? I can't feel my ears. I should have worn my stocking cap, my Russian hat, one of those.
But I love this, the way they did this interior. So
yeah, it is. This luxurious. Look at the stitching on it. I like the stitching on this.
And it has massaging seats too.
Yeah. Oh, massaging, heated, cool.
Yeah. All right, measure the sound now.
I'm going to call it at 59 because it's bounced all over. It got cleared down to 57. So
Really?
59 is very good.
No, so the quietest truck was the Tundra at 60 decibels, and 59 is the quietest truck we've ever tested.
Yeah, it's really good. It did drop clear down to 57 and just didn't stay there for a long time.
That's crazy.
It is.
That is the quietest truck we've ever tested.
That's awesome. So you got quietness, you got torque monster, You got fuel mileage. I mean, goodness, this is my new truck.
General Motors, did you hear that? Mr. Truck wants this truck.
I do. I probably can't afford the Ultimate Denali, the Denali Ultimate, but I really like this combination of engine. I probably would get a, I don't know, I'm sure I can get the lower axle ratio that I would like to have.
And so the transmission temps stayed in check, about at 205 degrees on the gauge. I'm also recording it using the Banks iDash. Are you ready with the timer? Because we're approaching the very top of the mountain. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're gonna stop the timer now.
8.13, 813.
8 minutes, 13 seconds.
Yes.
5.9. 5.9 mpg.
Yeah, and I knew it couldn't be 8 because you were going down to 55 miles an hour an awful lot.
So that's a little bit slower. I mean, 8 minutes would be a perfect time.
Yeah,
So we lost about 13 seconds there, but it was a slowish acceleration, and also we couldn't maintain 60 for a lot of the stretch. In the beginning of this test, when we started, I thought this was going to be a 5-star truck because of its diesel engine. But let's rate it, and let's be pretty strict.
Yes. I had high hopes for it too at the beginning.
So 5 stars is the maximum you could get. On the downhill, so you can get a maximum of 1 stars. But the grade shifting, the transmission mapping wasn't very aggressive.
No, and I thought the exhaust brake would kick in more than it did, and your RPMs were up there pretty high. It was
But not high enough.
RPM. No, and it's, yeah. So that was kind of discouraging.
So let's take off a quarter for that.
Right.
Even though 4 brake applications is a good performance,
Yes.
still it could be better.
Yeah, and especially with an exhaust brake. You expect more from that and a 10-speed. You had all the gators in the world to downshift, and it did only downshifted, twice?
Okay, now let's rate the uphill section.
Okay.
So the time was 8 minutes, 13 seconds. So we lost a little bit of time because it's kind of a leisurely acceleration on the way up.
Yeah, and it stayed at 55 a lot of the time. I
Yeah.
know if it didn't stay at 60, it couldn't hit the 8-minute.
But it was very smooth riding. It was the quietest ride.
It definitely was the quietest.
But because of that slowness, let's take a quarter off.
Okay, because it only towed 7,000 pounds when it can tow 8,800.
Yes.
So at 7,000, it should have been faster, but it's a 323 or 320. Is that a 323 axle ratio?
Yes, I believe so.
And so that's part of the problem, but yeah.
Now, the 3rd star is towing features.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, this has everything. And you saw how we set up the trailer, right?
Yeah.
It has a see-through trailer. It has blind spot suggestion. It has really easy to reach chain hookups. It has cameras everywhere.
Oh, General Motors is the king of the cameras. That's all there is to it.
Full star.
Oh, yes.
Full star.
Yes.
Now, the 4th category is suspension.
Right.
So it's handling and squat. It's a little bit more squat than I like. 2 3/4.
Yeah, handling was great, but you're right. Squat is real close to the bump stop,
Yeah.
which means, I don't know, the maximum trailer may get real close to the bump stop.
Yeah.
But
And you said some of the rough sections were a little bit rough.
yeah, it's
right?
great suspension, but when you get to where the chains did a lot of damage in the truck lane, yeah, it bounced that last few feet of the run.
So what do you say? A quarter off here?
Yeah, that's all. I wouldn't go any more than a quarter.
Okay. Still a really confident towing rig.
Exactly.
And then finally, its overall range and performance.
Well,
Well, it was 5.9 mpg on the way up.
Oh, yeah.
Is almost double what some of the other trucks do.
Well, certainly.
And it does have a 22-gallon fuel tank.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing about it, but the range is still good with that kind of fuel mileage. I mean, you had big range.
Because we'll show you at the end of this video the whole trip, the 160-mile trip,
Yeah.
and I think that answer will be great.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about even the small tank. It'll go a long ways when you got good mileage, and I think that's great. This may be my future truck, and it's going to be the fuel mileage that makes my decision.
So 4 1/4 stars in the end.
Yes.
So it's a great rating for this truck. It is expensive at $83,000, but you have to pay for luxury.
Well, it's an Ultimate. Of course it's expensive. What other truck would be expensive than the top of the line? That's how it goes.
Well, thanks for joining us. Go to oldtfl.com for everything automotive and
store.mrtruck.com and tell Mr. Truck, hey.
And take a look at these numbers. I'm pretty impressed. 166 mile trip, 12.3 mpg, towing this large and fairly heavy camper. I think diesel, at least in the half-ton segment, is still where it's at for efficiency while towing. Well, there you have it.